Hey everybody, welcome back to the Andy Doherty Show. We're going to change things up a bit. I know it's been a while since I've been gone, but we're back. And
Happy days, we are back.
Oh, I was about to introduce you.
Hallelujah, we are back.
So one thing that we wanted to do when we came back was that we wanted to start making this into sort of a sports show. So yeah, we're going to start doing that. Later today on the show, in our second segment, I'm going to have Ryan Mastery guess at football. I don't know if he knows anything about football, but we're going to make him guess and see if he can become a champion prognosticator for us.
And to next week, where the results will be in, and we'll see how good a guesser Ryan Mastery is.
Yep, if he does over 50%, we'll keep bringing him back, but if he goes under that amount, I'm going to find someone else. We also didn't tell...
If he goes over 50%, we're going to get Vegas on the phone. This guy is the real deal.
And if he goes... what do you call it? We're just not going to tell him. I literally just texted him, I'm going to call you in 45 minutes. He has no idea what's going on. So it's going to be great. But for right now, we are going to talk NBA stuff. You know, Kyrie Irving trade over the summer was pretty crazy, going to Boston, and Isaiah Thomas going to Cleveland. Mayo, what are your thoughts on that?
The more recent news for Kyrie Irving is that the whole thing where he did not tell LeBron, he felt like he didn't need to tell LeBron that he was leaving. Now, my opinion on that would be that, yes, he has every right, because LeBron inserting himself on the Cavs a couple of years ago was not something that Irving was ever really happy with. But, of course, a player like LeBron's caliber, you're not going to really complain until you play together and see how it feels. But he had a couple, 2-3 years with LeBron, his team. He has championship, but he wants more now. He feels like he could lead a team on his own without LeBron being the person that everyone says is the number one and that he leads the team in obvious right. So does he have to tell LeBron that he's leaving? No, because LeBron has a kind of history of being kind of like, I guess, sensitive to things like that. I feel like he would have a response that would bring way more attention to the whole situation than is necessary, where there was already attention as is to the whole thing. So I think he doesn't need to tell LeBron anything.
Well, I just see it as like he went on SportsCenter a few days ago, and just the way that he was talking and the way that he sounded, he kind of sounded like a discount Kobe Bryant. Like
okay.
it sounded like something that Kobe would do and would did say, but like just some of the stuff he was saying, where he was talking about he was saying, it's not about LeBron, it's not about LeBron. I mean, I totally understand in Cleveland, I don't think it's a friendly area for players. I really don't think that management, after what they did to LeBron when he left, when, there was all that stuff going up on ESPN of just bashing LeBron pretty much,
yeah.
which gave way to fans, and that's why a lot of people were burning his jersey after he left.
That was like the first person where they, at least in basketball, where they burn his jersey for leaving the team. And now it's been a thing where even before Isaiah Thomas actually officially went to the team, Boston aggressively burned their jersey, which is unfair because it's not like Isaiah Thomas chose to leave this time.
Right.
So, yeah, that was the start of that, where LeBron left and they started burning jerseys, which is ridiculous.
I just think it's a funny thing that we waited for that trade. When that trade was going through, in the process of that trade going through, and they found out, then Isaiah Thomas, he fails his physical. Completely fails his physical. He has a hip injury. It declines surgery for it. Cavs don't think he needs to go surgery for it. Whatever, they decide not to go surgery for it, and they holds up the trade. And then just a week and a half of just all this stuff. Just not crap talking, but just like this weird kind of ambiance between both the teams.
Yeah.
And then kind of like, second round pick, after like a week and a half of everybody just going like, what's happening with this trade, and hearing updates from everybody, and then it just being like, they just added a second round pick and traded it away.
I just think the Cavs need to gather themselves, because they just got news that the guy that is required for someone that they want to build the future around once he's gone.
Once LeBron's gone?
Once Kyrie's gone, they want to build a future in the Cavs without him. Again, also addressing the fact that LeBron may leave. They want to make sure all the assets they get in that trade are as helpful as possible. So I think with Isaiah Thomas, he has a hip injury. How serious could this be? So they wanted to gather to see, maybe they did more exercise with him to see how long he will possibly take. And then they're like, all right, if this series can we play it off to the Celtics and see if we can squeeze something out of them. So they squeezed second round. Probably that's the best they could do at that point. It's like, all right, let's just get this deal settled, because I think too much time has gone by for us to really take a step back on it. I think they thought that it would be kind of an outrage throughout the whole league, especially after Boston reacted to Isaiah Thomas the way they did, to just be like, the trade's over. Like, I feel like that wasn't really an option after a while.
Well, think about how awkward that would be for both sides.
So awkward, yeah.
Like, two guys that, well, I mean, Isaiah Thomas was, I think, beloved in Boston before that trade went down.
He was.
So just to see that funny transition of like, oh, now you got to go back to these places where they burned your jersey and, you know, and just the history that went down. You know, he played after it was his sister, right, who died, and he played in a playoff game. He got his tooth knocked out in that same series. Like, yeah, just all that crazy stuff to just like have your jersey burned and then you're traded and then everybody flip out at you and then come back.
I mean, they did that just for the sake of being called passion fans. I just don't think they really were that offended by the fact that he was traded away, because they can't be, because he was traded away. It wasn't Isaiah Thomas going, yeah, Irving wants to leave, I want to leave too. Make me part of that trade type of thing. It wasn't like that.
Do you think it's a commoditization of like people burning jerseys or people being super upset when their superstars leave? Because do you think that the Celtics actually got better from this trade?
Not better, but Irving is going to be helpful for them right now, and they had so many assets that they could pull up a trade like the one they did. Now, I don't know if I agree with them giving away the really valuable Nets pick, but I mean, they got rid of Jay Crowder because they have a lot of forwards right now, and they can free up that space, that time for a young Tatum and a young Jaylen Brown. And Zizic, I don't think they were going to use. They might have used him. They need a big man. Ante Zizic.
I have no idea who that is.
He's the second, third player in the trade. It was three players, and then it was the pick to the Cavs. Zizic is a center who I think was drafted a couple years ago but stayed overseas, and he's ready to go to the league now. Zizic is supposed to be okay, but again, he wasn't really tested in the NBA format yet, so we'll see how he plays in the preseason if he plays.
Right.
But yeah, he has potential, but it's not a big deal to drop a guy like that for the Celtics, I don't think, because they still have Horford. And then the first pick is the only big thing. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you're going to get a superstar off a team that's building around him or is part of their future, you're going to have to give up a lot. So I think it's a fair trade. I don't think anyone is really a winner. I think they both settle on something very great for each side. So I think it's a good trade.
All right. Now moving on to another NBA superstar, KD.
Kevin Durant.
So Kevin Durant gets in trouble this week for pretty much outing himself as a what was he? He was making fake accounts on Twitter to kind of justify or fight for his side, and pretended to be his own fans to
Yeah. Well, he supposedly has a second account as for family only, where it's another pseudonym. And then when he posted a post responding to someone else, I guess he usually, when he uses that second account, if this is true, I'm going by what Durant says, because you can't really speculate. I mean, people are saying that he has multiple accounts, but he could actually only have this one that he uses for family. And I guess when he responds to people with that account, he uses a third person so it doesn't reveal that's him. So accidentally, he was still logged on to his regular account that's certified, and he's using third person again. So people were like, that's weird. Why is he using third person in his own account?
So he's talking crap about his former teammates and former coach.
He wanted that to be on his separate account.
On his family account?
On his family account.
So let me break this down a little bit.
Okay.
Me and you are NBA players.
Yeah.
We're former teammates.
Yeah.
I do a KD, and I jump on a team that has already won a championship because I just feel like, the team that we played for. So I'm going to go to social media onto an account where all my family follows me. What, you can't just call them? Text them, your family, and talk crap?
No,
or in social gatherings?
Talking crap to his family on the family account. He's using his family account to respond to something he saw that someone else wrote.
Right.
That's just a regular hater.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not.
But he's responding in the third person.
In the third person.
Pretending to be another person.
Right. That's what he did. I guess what he claimed he did. He probably does have multiple accounts.
He probably has multiple accounts, and he just sticks up for himself.
Right.
That's the probable.
But even so, even with that thing, I don't see the point of that, because all summer when people were talking garbage about him getting a trophy and how he didn't really earn it by picking a team that has already won, like he was talking directly to his fans and responding to them without hiding himself. and he was saying like stupid things that a professional shouldn't be saying to their fans. You know what I mean? And I don't understand why suddenly he's got to do a separate account. He didn't say anything too different from what he's been saying all summer with his trash talking he's been doing for immature reasons because he's Durant.
Right.
So it was weird to me that came out like that.
It's really weird to me to see like a person who's weirdly enough not really that much older than us act way more immaturely than we are.
Yeah. Freaking Durant.
At a higher level, he's probably going to get paid more money than we'll ever make in our lives.
Yeah.
And he's just going to act very immature like his age.
There's no reason to stick up for yourself. I mean, you have nothing to prove to other people. You made your decision, and you own your decision, so own it. You don't need to respond to anybody else. You need to care what people think. It doesn't matter.
and the whole reason why it's such a big thing is the whole scandal that goes around his decision of why he went there and how it just kind of was like, in sports, it's such a redeeming quality to, take this team and this team that drafted you or this team that, like, look what Melo's doing. I mean, Melo could have totally done that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just hopped on another team, but he stayed, well, technically not a team that drafted him, but a team that he wanted to invest his time and
because he wanted to be home
his
in New
body
York.
in, right. And, I don't know, I just think that he went against the lines, but I think he just did it in the wrong way.
For those who don't know, Durant said, as a response to someone criticizing the fact that he probably could have won on the Thunder if he didn't leave, he said that take Westbrook off the Thunder, and who do they have left? They have nothing. They're poor players and poor coaching, or something along those lines, where he made a diss at his former team where they're nothing without him and Westbrook.
And I think he used his coach's name, right?
I think he did address him as Billy Donovan, yeah. So he said that, and
I just think just listening to that and then hearing his response of,
how he was so sorry.
Right,
he didn't sleep in 2 days.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. He said the same thing.
Alligator tears.
He said the same thing when he left to begin with.
Right.
He said that I didn't want to leave my room because I was so scared of what the haters would say, what the fans would say.
Right.
So I felt so terrible. I didn't know what to do. Like the same sob story he told when he left the Warriors. I don't think it makes him seem less genuine. Right. When he says the same excuse.
I think the reason why I'm also so hard on Durant is not just because of his decision making and he changed the NBA, and whether we don't know yet if that's a good thing or a bad thing that these super teams now, where you have to have like a stacked team to like even compete in the playoffs, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing yet, whether that's going to bring in ratings or not. I mean, besides the fact he's always treated the media bad. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So he's never given the media any credit. So
I mean, so does Westbrook. Like those two are the two tough guys. Westbrook also hates being interviewed and hates being asked questions.
Well, I feel worse for Westbrook because he's in a tougher position. He's always been in a tougher position.
True.
Because he's always been a what do you call it? He's always been a second to Durant, I feel. And now, now everybody's like, oh, now it's Westbrook's team. And it was never like Durant was the second player, even when he got injured.
That was part of the problem in Oklahoma City. They needed to establish who was a star on that team. I think maybe late in games, something like that, when somebody needed to take over, they both wouldn't back down. I mean, which is a good thing in a sense, but like every team LeBron was on, when he was in the Heat, he established the closer. The closer was Dwayne Wade, and for the Cavs, the closer was Irving. And he would distribute if he had to. He would muscle into the paint if he needed to. But the closer of the game would be Irving hitting a couple threes, or like Wade hitting a couple crazy mid-range shots so he could hit over people's faces. And that would be how they win fourth quarters if it went in close game.
Right.
So they didn't really establish that. So they would both be working their asses off, and they wouldn't really establish in a play who's going to get open for the shot or who's going to burst into the paint off a good pass or a good pick and roll. So I think that was part of the issue over there too. Also, I don't disagree that there wasn't a good supporting cast, but they definitely could have won over there.
Yeah.
Because Black was getting better at shooting and defending. Adams blew up that year when they were this close to being the Warriors, and Roberson was locking up shooting guards. So they had something going for them.
Yeah, but also looking at this year, they probably would have fell short because Steven Adams really kind of was pedestrian in the playoffs.
I don't think he cared anymore. I think the team was bad enough that he didn't care anymore.
And Roberson, we all know what happened.
If they kept Durant, they would have cared again. They would have muscled up, and they would have actually made the effort. They came in at 6, so I guess Adams is counting themselves out, which isn't fair. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but he didn't look like his same aggressive self he was.
He didn't at all. He looked very pedestrian. It was really weird.
It was bad.
It was really weird. All right, so moving on, Charles Barkley went out and said on the record that he he feels bad for guys. Well, he
sarcastically said 4 guys. They can't do a back-to-back. A bunch calling them a bunch of babies because the NBA season is going to get pulled back to October 17th, opposed to late October, to eliminate, if not all, most of the back-to-back games that basketball players have to play, because coaches were starting to, in the past years, bench their superstars to keep them strong going into the playoffs. So to eliminate that prospect, they're trying to make there be less games a week. So Charles Barkley said, okay, the people in the past, probably in his own era, in a pride sense, he was like, we never had to do that. That's ridiculous.
Right.
We played 82 games. Whatever the schedule was, we played it.
It's a different NBA. It's a very different NBA than when Charles Barkley was in the league. I mean, I think the whole thing behind that was to eliminate down injuries, because the last couple of years, the league has just been killed. The competition in the league has been killed with injuries.
Right.
And just when people go down like that,
I also don't know how it happens. What's different? Because everyone complains that the NBA is soft because you can't touch a player, you can't do anything, which is true. And again, back then, people used to really rough people up in the post.
Right.
So I don't see how this is happening. But I guess it's more athletic players that just burst to the paint, and then they maybe go into a really athletic play where they're hanging into the air for a while and they don't really address their landing, or they land on someone's foot and they get messed up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I guess that's happening more now. But I think they had to be super athletes back then too.
Right.
I don't know how it's happening, but it is. So I guess they're trying everything to address that, and they just can't figure out what it is that's making this happen.
Yeah. And that's the way they're going to do it. They're just going to say, okay, we're just going to give these guys more rest.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I don't agree with Charles Barkley on his statement was that no player really was saying no player was really saying oh, we need this rest. We know that LeBron, as much as he's rested in the past season, he really kind of hates it when he gets
always
rested.
Had a problem with resting. I don't know if any player is saying I need rest. You know what I mean?
Right. No one's gonna be. Well, they all have that winner mentality.
Right. I don't see any of the superstars going, I'm going to rest this game even though it could cost us a seed spot, like it did for the Cavs when they took the pet off the metal in the last couple weeks of the season. They ended up being second seed to the Celtics. It was kind of ridiculous because they're by far the best team in the East, at least at that moment. So I don't know. I just don't think stars really were saying that. So you can't call them poor babies because it wasn't their call. They weren't please, back-to-backs, they suck, they hurt my feelings. No one was saying that. Right. So Charles Barkley, I think he's just talking to talk.
And that's what he gets paid to do. You know what I mean? And
he's to address serious issues and to say controversial things. That's what he gets paid to do.
Yeah. So this isn't the first time that Charles Barkley is
questionable.
Yeah. Where we're wait a minute, that never happened.
That's just his style.
And then I think we should talk about the forcing out of Carmello Anthony from New York. I think that's another good topic.
Somewhat forcing out of Carmello.
No, they're forcing him out of there.
But they're not doing anything about it.
Well, they're just going to take. It's a very. I think they're trying to milk him for whatever he's worth. You know what I mean? So they're trying to get everything they can out of a trade like that. You know what I mean? They're not going to accept the first or second trade that gets offered to him for Melo. You know what I mean? And also Melo has to accept it, but I think he just wants to get the heck out of there because.
I mean, I don't know. I think from the start of the summer, I didn't think he was going anywhere. But the thing is that the Knicks don't have enough assets or people to move for them to make anything work. Right. So anything that they would get from Melo would be rip-off to the team.
They only have they have 3 guys on high more than that, right?
Any player with value on that team that needed a contract in the past couple of years has a huge contract.
Well, Courtney Lee is on $11 million contract. What did Tim Hardaway get signed to?
Oh, a lot.
$17 million, or was it more than that? Or was it 24?
From the 15 to 18 million range.
Okay,
way too much for Tim Hardaway, whatever it was.
Right. Well, he was a premier free agent, shooting guard. In a position we were already paying $11 million to another shooting guard.
True.
And then the Noah contract, so that's gonna have an effect too. Of $17 million over 4 years.
Yeah.
And then so it's either you're investing into a high contract for many years,
right? Or you're getting you get a bunch of decent players. I guess that's what they offer that are getting $3 million a year or so.
Right.
I guess you get Ron Baker at that point. Kuzminskis. I don't know.
They got to be on minimum contracts though, right? There's no way those guys are making $3
Ron Baker almost didn't make the team, so he definitely has a small contract. Ron Baker was drafted to pick back up again.
The security guard thought he was a random fan that was just inside the building.
Yeah, he didn't looks like a sad white boy. That's what he does. Looks like a really young kid, first of all, and sad. That's what he looks like to me.
You know why?
Why?
Because he's playing with Melo.
Yeah.
He's playing on the Knicks.
I don't get any I don't get the ball handle because Melo has it all the time in the post.
All right, I want to break down a couple of sound for you.
Okay.
And the first one coming from the new football season. This one is coming from New York radio host Dan Greca. This is his reaction to... This is his reaction to people saying that the Giants need to make... that it was some percentage. It was a percentage of how much Eli Manning was dropping back in the pocket for the Giants and getting protected by his players. So let's hear what Don has to say.
You have to throw the football. Come on, stop it already. Right? Everybody's coming up with these now. Oh, well, this offensive lineman, only 27% of the time was Eli pressured from his left side on Monday nights when Sean McDonough's the announce. Stop. Stop creating some narrative that everybody knows football better than somebody else. Your eyeballs tell the story. The offensive line sucks. Period. That's my stat. You want a stat? You want sabermetrics? Don Greca tweeted last night, or said on the Michael K show, offensive line stinks. That's the stat. Give me a break. That's what we're going to do, Michael? We're going to be like accountants now in baseball? What is it? The Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem says that the Giants offensive line, that their record should be 1-1. That's the Pythagorean theorem says. The Giants offensive line, that their record should be 2-0. When I talk Pythagorean theorem, I sound like that? No. The people that trust the Pythagorean theorem. The people that listen to the Pythagorean theorem. The people that sit there at their desk that only know the naked body through National Geographic that do
What?
come up with the Pythagorean theorem. That's what they sound like.
Oh my God.
Quit it. It's football. I've been watching it for 40 years. 40 years. That's one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen. And they have not gone this long without scoring 20 points since 77-78 when Joe Pisarcik was their quarterback. Patterson playing Joe. So take that with your Pythagorean theorem. The Joe Pisarcik theorem. You're dead.
And
What a rant.
just for the viewership, at the end of that rant, in the final seconds, he then picks up a water bottle and starts triumphantly drinking from it.
My mouth is dry.
Hang on, let me find it. I need to ask Joe again. Joe, how long have you been watching this Giants team?
I've not gone this long without scoring.
Oh, I went too far. Ruined my own joke. I'm trying to find the 40 years.
I've been watching it for 40 years. 40 years.
How long?
I've been watching it for 40 years. 40 years.
So, the Pythagorean theorem. Did anyone start mentioning the Pythagorean theorem to this man? Is that what set him off?
I think what it was that he was getting mad at all these stats that were getting thrown at him to prove his point wrong.
The only thing I think of that had to do with stats was the Pythagorean theorem?
Yes, because that's what he thinks. Because that's what baseball is based off of.
Pythagorean theorem? Wow. That was something.
I don't even think the baseball diamond is an actual triangle, right? No.
It's a diamond.
I'm going to put that in the poll. I'm going to put that on the poll. Is a baseball diamond a triangle?
I think if you put like a line like across to the diamond, it makes like maybe 4 triangles. I think that'd be pretty close.
At Andy Doherty, I'm going to leave this poll open all week. Is the baseball diamond a triangle?
Or is it perchance a diamond? Thank you.
Yeah, Don Greca, he freaked out. I don't know if I'm going to have that sound, but he freaked out. Oh, God. He freaked out a couple weeks ago about a caller calling in about somebody benching Aaron Judge.
We're done with that last part?
What?
We're done with that last part?
Why? Do you want to keep breaking it down?
I was wondering, what is the offensive line like? That is
horrible.
Eli Manning getting pressured that badly?
Oh, yeah. Eric Flowers, the dude is like 6'8", like I don't know, 320 pounds, and I'm probably going to get ripped if that's wrong, but he's this big dude, and he can't block anybody. Like, literally, just over the weekend, just watching the Giants play, just seeing their highlights, it was so funny to see every time Eli Manning got sacked, just Eric Flowers, you knew that he was so sad under
really?
his helmet, but you couldn't see him because he's such a towering man. But you can tell in his body language that he was just so upset that he can't block anybody.
That's funny.
Can't block anybody. And just so many times it happened to him where he just looks and he just goes, just looking back at Eli Manning, and he's just shaking his own head, just going, God, I can't block a single person.
I can't help you. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
That was really funny. Yeah, Don LaGreca going on that rant, though, he makes my day sometimes. And
that was passion.
Yeah. So what do you think, Leo?
About the Giants?
Stats being used too much in football?
No. I mean, I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know
Right. I think it was one of his points about the Giants' offensive line that says it's him using, that was poetic though, because him using himself in the third person to plug his own Twitter feed where he says, "At Don LaGreca, the offensive line sucks." Oh man, that was such a great sound. 40 years.
Alright, we can move on now.
Alright, I have another sound.
Okay.
Of Ben McAdoo throwing Eli Manning under the bus after he couldn't hike a ball. He couldn't hike the ball and had to delay a game penalty when they were on the 1 yard line on 4th down. And they were going to go for it, but they ended up having to kick a field goal. And they ultimately lost that game. So here's Ben McAdoo.
Sloppy quarterback play. Quarterback and the center need to be on the same page there. We got to get the ball snapped. Why did you call timeout? Because we have a veteran quarterback who's played a lot of football. Expect us to get the ball snapped. Usually the clock goes from 3, 2, 1, 0. Once it hits 0, they look at the ball, look at the clock. Usually have a tick once it hits 0 to get the ball snapped.
So that's Ben McAdoo. Now, the thing about Ben McAdoo is that he was the offensive coordinator, and he was, pretty much hyped to get this job from Tom Coughlin after Tom Coughlin left, for the main fact that Eli Manning has won 2 Super Bowls and is the quarterback, and he's the offensive lineman. Yeah. So I just think it's funny that, and a lot of people have been coming at him and stuff like that, and they're saying, like, oh, don't throw your quarterback under the bus, but it's, like, funny, because in such a world where you hear, like, because you usually just get the random little half-truth that somebody will tell. Like, the coach would say, oh, we got to get that ball off. He wouldn't say the quarterback, the veteran quarterback, has to get that ball off. And I think that's where everybody just kind of gets irked.
Yeah.
So
I don't know much about football, but I feel like Eli Manning, he has good years when he feels like having good years. It is news to me that the offensive line is that bad. I think I've heard that in the past. But if that's the reason why he's on and off all the time, then so be it. But I just feel like Eli Manning could slack for seasons if he wants to. I also heard that he picks it up at the end of the years, but like I feel like he slacks when he feels like it.
What do you think it was like in the locker room? Like, what would you give up to be in the locker room as Ben McAdoo walked back in after he heard? Do you think Eli is staring at him like this?
I think Eli's tomato red at that point. I think Eli is so embarrassed.
Do you think he says anything?
No.
Or is Eli too awkward to say anything?
He takes a lecture at that point.
Eli's way too awkward to say anything at that point.
Takes a lecture and pouts.
He's just standing there.
Whole time pouting. For sure he's pouting.
The complete opposite of Eric Flowers.
Yeah.
Body language. He's clenching his fist.
You think he's angry?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. After getting thrown on the bus in front of the national media?
I suppose.
For a guy whose job you got him?
I guess so.
And like the reason for why he's sitting there?
I thought you were asking me, like...
Do you think he's looking at him like this?
Nice.
That's Eli Manning.
Scrunched up nose is what he's doing.
After he threw a pickoff, looked like he smelled a bad fart. Or is he looking at him like this?
Oh, that's accurate. It looks dopey.
I'll post these to my Twitter. At Andy Doherty, if you want to follow me. Oh man. Oh god. I don't know with the Giants, man. They got a long way to go. My grandpa, he actually made a prediction, and I'm a Jet fan. So okay. I'm mostly a Jet fan. But in keeping up with New York sports, my grandpa, big Giant fan, he goes, they're going to lose more games than the Jets. And we laughed at him. Me and my cousin, we laughed at him. Yeah, we're both journalists. Me and my cousin are both journalists. We looked at each other. We looked at him, and we're like, Pop, are you okay? Because we didn't know what he was saying, and it turns out that both the Jets and the Giants are 0-2.
Well, how long until the Giants are fully healthy, or is it just Odell out?
Yeah, it's just Odell out.
Interesting. So you think the offensive line will be that detrimental that they may have as bad of a season as the Jets?
I mean, everybody was talking about how good their defense was going to be and all the parts that they added and stuff like that and how great that was going to be. And they've just looked so mediocre. They just look like a run-of-the-mill 16. I don't find joy in that at all. I like to see when New York teams win.
Right.
But just, oh, man, they're going to be like middle of the pack, if not back third.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something.
It's been real bad. They're going to have to really
because they made some good acquisitions. They just didn't make the easy ones. I guess offensive line, no one really thinks about that much as being that helpful to... I mean, they do, obviously. They have a quarterback. But not like Era 1 is like scraping for offensive line when they could be working on like wide receiver or defensive. So it's interesting that
when Don Greca was arguing about this is the worst season since '79, they didn't score a touchdown in that first game. I don't think they scored a touchdown in that first game. And then in that second game, I think this is the first time in like 30, 40 years that they've gone, that they went into week 3 with under 21 points scored.
Yeah.
So, it's just, oh man. But just those sounds are just so epic.
Yeah.
Those sounds are just awesome.
I mean, New York fans are passionate. Look at Stephen A. Smith of the Knicks. That dude's also passionate as hell.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to be the end for this segment. We're going to tip the next one next. And on that one, we're looking over Stephen A. Smith sound. So good transition, Mayo.
Yeah, I killed it. I did it.
All right, we'll be back.